How exactly is your salary determined? It's a question that sparks widespread curiosity and often deep frustration. Why do some university graduates step into investment banking roles with salaries that start in the high six figures annually, while their peers at major tech companies earn substantial monthly incomes supplemented by stock options? Simultaneously, countless others in sectors like manufacturing, logistics, or education work tirelessly all year only to barely reach a fraction of those earnings. Consider the stark wage disparities for performing what seems like the same basic task. Bolting parts together in a Chinese factory might earn an individual around $700 a month. In Bangladesh, that figure could plummet to a mere $40. Yet the very same action performed in the United States could yield a monthly income of $3,000, translating to over $16,000 in Chinese yuan. Why such a monumental difference for identical physical labor? Does effort alone dictate our earnings? If not, what underlying forces truly control our paychecks? Imagine you're on holiday in Northern Europe and a minor mishap with the server's tray leaves a stain on your white t-shirt. Heading to a nearby shop for a replacement, you spot a plain white tee priced at €200. For a simple t-shirt, you grumble internally, thinking it would cost a tenth of that back home. This everyday scenario provides a perfect lens through which to explore the intricate global journey of this unassuming garment. Your seemingly simple white t-shirt isn't the product of a single nation's labor. Instead, it embodies a complex global value chain, stretching across 3 continents and encompassing multiple production stages. The journey begins in Egypt, home to some of the world's finest long staple cotton. Farmers in the fertile Nile Delta spend over 10 hours daily harvesting this precious fiber by hand, often earning less than $3 or about 20 Chinese yuan for their arduous work. After initial processing, this raw cotton is baled and shipped from Alexandria, Egypt, navigating the Red Sea and Indian Ocean before reaching Shanghai port in China. From Shanghai, the cotton travels inland to Shaoxing, a key textile manufacturing center. Here, skilled technicians operate multiple machines, transforming raw cotton into finished fabric through spinning, weaving, and dyeing. Workers in Shaoxing typically earn between $700 and $1,000 per month. A factory manager in Shaoxing might earn around $28,000 annually. This contrasts sharply with a hypothetical classmate, also from a top-tier university, who might be earning over $140,000 a year at a major internet company. This disparity, for individuals with similar foundational education, highlights deeper economic dynamics. The finished fabric then embarks on another maritime journey, sailing from Ningbo port to Chittagong, Bangladesh. It's quickly transported to garment factories on the outskirts of Dhaka, a massive hub for over 4,000 apparel businesses and a global center for fast fashion, producing for brands like Zara and H&M. Inside these bustling factories, hundreds of workers meticulously sew fabric pieces. Take Raika, a 23-year-old seamstress who expertly stitches for 12 hours a day, often earning a meager $40 to $70 a month, sometimes even less. Finally, these assembled t-shirts are shipped in containers to department stores worldwide, including the one you visited in Helsinki, Finland. A local sales associate, poised and professional, approaches you with a friendly smile, helping you find your size. This individual typically earns between €2,500 and €3,000 monthly, equivalent to over $3,500. This is 50 times more than the Bangladeshi seamstress and 3 to 4 times more than the skilled Chinese textile worker. Why such a dramatic difference in compensation for individuals all contributing to the life of one t-shirt? Several powerful economic forces explain these dramatic wage gaps, extending far beyond individual effort. One critical factor is exchange rates. Simply put, an exchange rate is the international market price of one currency relative to another. For example, why does $1 equate to approximately 7 Chinese yuan? This value is primarily dictated by supply and demand. Currencies that are globally sought after, used widely for international trade, investment, and financial transactions, will command a higher price. Conversely, currencies with little international demand will naturally depreciate. Economist Gustav Cassell's purchasing power parity theory suggests that in the long run, exchange rates should reflect differences in the purchasing power of currencies. If a coffee costs $5 in the US and 20 Chinese yuan in China, theoretically, $1 should buy 4 Chinese yuan. The true value of money, in this view, is determined by what it can actually purchase. However, real-world exchange rates are far more intricate. They're influenced by trade balances, foreign investment, national creditworthiness, political stability, and interest rate policies. The US dollar's global dominance, for instance, stems from America's massive economy and its widespread use in global commerce, driving consistent high demand and value. Another key to understanding wage disparity is the smile curve theory, introduced by the founder of Acer Group. This concept illustrates that in manufacturing, the highest profit margins are concentrated at the two ends of the value chain, design and branding/sales. The middle segment, manufacturing and assembly, yields the lowest profits. As seen with the t-shirt, the physical laborers in Egypt, China, and Bangladesh receive minimal compensation. The lion's share of profit goes to the brand owners, designers, marketers, logistics companies, and retailers who handle the high-value functions at either end of the curve. Thus, our wages are not simply a function of how hard we work. More significantly, they are determined by our position within this global value chain. Karl Marx observed this over 150 years ago, noting that capital distributes surplus value not based on labor expended, but on control. Those who control production means, dictate pricing, and command distribution channels and brands accrue the vast majority of income. Those providing physical labor often receive only a necessary wage, just enough to cover basic living expenses and ensure they can continue working. From a capital perspective, it's merely the operational cost of maintaining the human machine. The internet era has intensified this dynamic. Delivery drivers, though seemingly free, are often high-intensity laborers meticulously scheduled by algorithms. Their perceived autonomy is often overshadowed by data-driven control. Why do top executives earn millions while others earn thousands? They earn by deciding how others exert effort, not by physical labor themselves. They possess decision-making power, who gets hired, which projects are funded, and design power, designing systems, setting KPIs, building workflows. Even among those engaged in intellectual work, large disparities exist. The core logic here is scarcity and substitutability. How difficult is your job to perform? Can many others do it? If you're easily replaceable, your bargaining power is low. Secondly, how much value does the problem you solve bring? An engineer who optimizes a system, saving a company millions, might earn a high salary, but it's a fraction of the value they created. Another engineer doing crucial but more replaceable maintenance might earn far less. This is less about fairness and more about an employer's economic calculation. What is your quantifiable worth? These cognitive differences often stem from early life experiences. Imagine two children, A and B, born on the same day. Child A is taught to obey rules and avoid mistakes, becoming a disciplined executor. Child B is encouraged to explore and problem solve, learning to think critically and challenge norms. Child A learns compliance. Child B learns judgment. These seemingly small differences in cognitive development compound, leading to vastly different abilities in abstract thinking, problem-solving, and decision-making, what is now termed cognitive difference. Even with similar IQs, their lifelong incomes can diverge by tenfold or more. Finally, consider the financial sector, where income gaps can be hundreds of times larger. An iPhone factory worker earns little, the design engineer more, but the investment banking partner who facilitates Apple's IPO earns vastly more. Why? Financial professionals leverage capital allocation power. Their product isn't a physical good, but strategic advice that connects capital and resources. They stand at critical junctures of capital flow, facilitating investments, mergers, and public offerings, collecting fees for guiding this flow. In a world increasingly dominated by financial capital, the true money is made not by producing goods, but by packaging them into investable assets. They sell money itself, which is the key to all resources, leading to salaries hundreds of times higher than those of ordinary laborers. In essence, wage disparities reflect a deeply rooted, often invisible stratification shaped by education, position in the global value chain, and access to capital and decision-making power. Learning a global language like English, therefore, isn't just about travel. It's about whether your knowledge in labor can participate in international pricing, rather than being undervalued by local economic conditions.